Update: Am I the butthole? I am dying and want to have a catch up with my first love. Hi, this is S's husband and she passed away after 5 weeks of posting this. I just looked into this account/phone before 2 days. She never told me about herself. But we live in a small town and everyone knows about everyone's business, including rumors. So I kind of knew about this vaguely. I did come to see her as a courtesy once her illness became known to people in our place. She was a very nice human being, a dutiful wife and daughter, and I really miss her. She was also my best friend and confidant. She was a genuinely nice and kind person, and she deteriorated quite quickly post her diagnosis. I just saw this account in her phone and am planning to have a chat with A to see if he would be willing to organize a scholarship, paid by me with her inheritance, in her memory, to sponsor the higher education of few kids every year and making them self-sufficient. This is something she wanted to do. I'm still not sure if I should tell A that I know their history. But that's a different discussion for a different day. I wish she had been one of those miraculous recoveries where doctors aren't even sure how something happened. She was a very warm and loving person, and thanks to everyone who had messaged her asking for updates, checking on her. Thanks again. The original post is here. Web link. You're reacting wonderfully to the news of her past relationship. I think it would have made her very happy to know you were so supportive of something she seemed nervous about. I'm sorry for your loss. I agree. It seems obvious that you are just as kind as she made you sound in her first post. I'm sorry for your loss, and I think it's amazing of you to see her good intentions and to honor her with a scholarship. I wish you all the best for the future. R.I.P. Original post, folded hands. I mean, she definitely was in no wrong, as it was simply to catch up and see where people in her life are before she passed, as every person would want to see every person they ever been close to that were amicable one last time, as even if it's not romantic, that person still played a part in her life, and having a closure is the least anyone should get, to know that people you were once close to are doing well. Thank you for updating us. I am very sorry about your loss. We only got her for a couple paragraphs and could sense her warmth and kindness through her words. I'm glad you got to live in that sunlight with her. What a gorgeous sentiment. I couldn't agree more. In such a short post, I feel like we saw a great deal of her spirit and the kind of person she was. What a lovely thing to say. I always struggle with finding the right words during a bereavement. How do you come up with something like this? I never know what to say that might bring comfort. Sit in the moment and really think about that person and feel a connection to them and whatever good energy that they had in life. Don't rush any sentiment or condolences, just let something bubble up that feels true. This is amazing advice. Thank you. That really helps. For me, the anxiety that I could say something wrong makes it hard to find the right words. In the event of finding out about a loss, I usually look online to review the things not to say, and in the space freed up by being certain what I will say will at least not be harmful, typically sentiments come to me. Poetry about loss also helps word things gracefully. Honestly say what you feel, or a simple "I'm sorry for your loss." I lost someone close to me, and ever since my advice to people who have lost someone is to forgive everyone for what they're about to say in the weeks afterwards. The bonkers things people come out with just out of sheer self-pressure and not knowing how to express empathy appropriately was mad, but remind yourself they're coming from a good sentiment. I appreciate your perspective, and find the notion of freedom to express equally valuable to apply to those who have experienced the loss. If someone is telling a story that is difficult to hear, tough to stomach, or unpleasant to acknowledge, then I imagine it is tenfold more arduous to share. I always allow people to express their loss, their emotions, their intimate confessions or descriptions of their realities without judgment or any attempt to quiet them. In these moments, I find patient openness to be far more valuable to the bereaved than any words of condolence, no matter how genuine. CC, user, you may find this comforting and relevant. Web link. I usually say something along the lines of "I'm sorry for your loss, I hope you heal from this with time. If I can help in any way, please let me know." It's polite, supportive, and can't really be misconstrued in any way I can think of. I think we all struggle with this. My mother gave me some great advice growing up that I always think of, not about what to say, but that you should always reach out and say something when someone you know loses someone. What's important is that people know you're thinking of them. Apparently, when my granddad passed, before I was born, She really took notice of who reached out and who didn't because they felt awkward. This advice has always served me well, and I try to share it when I have the opportunity. So true. When my father died, I got some kind words and genuine care from people I didn't know well. And a couple of people I knew really surprised me. One person I work with in some capacity works with hospice care and didn't even acknowledge when I told them. Like, ignored it. Catching up with another person, a very old school friend and neighbor who knew my family. She asked about my parents on Messenger, and I replied about the news my dad had died and opened up with some info on how it was a relief because of the end, that it was tough but we're doing okay now, etc. etc. No response at all. I'll never forgive her. That is so upsetting, the responses you got, especially coming from an old family friend. Difficult times really show you who your true friends are. I hope you find peace, and I am sorry for your loss. Thank you. It's so weird to see people's reactions. Death is one of our final taboos. In some cultures it's celebrated after someone has reached 80, as it should be. I like that idea. I've cut her loose. It was only last year and she messaged me this summer about general chit-chat, on the same thread that said about my dad dying just above her new message with no response from her in between. I just deleted it. I have no malice towards her, but you're right, she showed her true self. I even showed my message to 2 other friends to see if I'd been too blunt or straightforward about Dad's death. I can be, and they said I didn't say anything wrong and couldn't believe she hadn't responded. I gave her no more thought. Wow, some people really do baffle me, the fact she could see the message above and still had nothing to say. You are right to not give her any thought these days, definitely not how a true friend or any decent person would respond. I think this is absolutely true. When you are grieving, there are no magic words anyone can say to take away that pain. You don't need people trying to make you feel better, you just need people willing to sit in the dark with you and hold your hand. Your mother is a smart lady and taught you how to be an adult. The bereaved will remember who reached out to comfort them, either with words or their presence. I usually say something like, I don't really have words for things like this, just know that I'm thinking of you, and if you need anything, or if you want to talk about anything at all, please do reach out. This. Couldn't put this better. Now I'm crying at work, Purple Heart. This is a beautiful update. Thank you so much for posting. I am incredibly sorry for your loss. It sounds like you and your wife had a great deal of love and respect for one another. I think creating a scholarship in her honor is a beautiful way to pay tribute to her. I hate being that guy, but I'm pretty sure this is fake. Both husband and wife have the exact same type of grammar. Neither capitalize I when talking either. You reposted your wife's original Am I the Butthole link, not once, but twice. This also wouldn't be the first time I've seen this done, so perhaps I'm biased. Sorry for your loss if this is true, but the biggest tell giving you away is referring to people the same way. Knowing how to find and format an update post gave it away. That is true. Overarching of the giveaways in the post is the post itself. I'm trying hard to keep my suspension of disbelief so I can feel the butterfly those other commenters are feeling. Dude, why would you want to do that? I am readily believing it's fake. My default wish when reading stories is always for them to be real. It's just, some stories make it too hard to do. I'm taking the blue pill and staying in the dream, sorry. The dream where a dude's wife died? This may be one of the few instances where reality is better than the fabrication. Both husband and wife have the exact same type of grammar. Neither capitalize I when talking either. Gee, I don't know, maybe it could be because they share a native language along with its interferences? I can recognize some nationalities by that feature alone. This is also fake. Laughing my butt off. Reddit is a bunch of gullible buttholes. But, this brought me to tears? I'm literally covered in tears and snot and cat hair because I read a total of 6 paragraphs from an anonymous Reddit account. Oh, come on. If someone in my life died, I wouldn't give 2 craps about updating random people on an app. All this just reads as those pathetic people on example Facebook who post about themselves in third person as a family member and say that they were in an accident so a crush noticed them. Nice story, but I call bull. Downvote me all you want, but this sub is known for some fake AF stories, and this one seems like one of those. The story is plausible, but the fact that a husband would care about updating people on Reddit about a post his late wife made is not. Other people pointed the spelling and all of that, so I'm not going to do it, but you get the point. People get invested in these, and it's a crappy thing to fake these kind of stories. No, I agree, it's bullcrap. They write the same and have the same typos. I'm actually sitting here pissed that people are crying and emotionally invested in this story. It's a crafty thing to do to people. Those aren't the worst are the ones actively telling people off for questioning it, not because they think it's likely to be real, but on the off chance that it is. There's a chance that everything on the internet is actually real, but those are pretty slim. If this is real, then still I don't think a grieving husband would care about some random girl's comment. Also, isn't it a bit creepy to praise a man who went snooping through his dead wife's phone? Isn't it a bit creepy to praise a man who went snooping through his dead wife's phone? Interesting that you consider it snooping. I've had some health issues lately, and so I've actually been putting letters to family, and instructions on my last wishes and stuff, inside my phone, just in case. I just naturally assumed my husband, and/or daughter, would go through my phone. The same way they'd also go through my drawers, clothes, paperwork, etc., at a minimum, just to have my recent pictures and stuff. I guess I never thought of it as snooping once the person is dead. But apparently other people do. Thanks for the insight. I had people die, and as much as I wanted to go through their stuff, I didn't. Pictures and that, yeah, but messages and every single thing they posted is too much. We, mom and sister, opened our dad's Facebook to delete it a few years after his death and responded to a message a guy from the army, when there was a war 20 years back, sent cause he didn't know about his death, and that was that it felt weird to leave the guy hanging. I guess he barely used his phone, so maybe it's not the same, but still I would try my best not to do it. This was before smartphones became really hot while still on the market, but we only went through my mom's photos if anything. It was her private device and felt like an intrusion to actually go through it. We've kept her Facebook up for that reason, and all her old friends can still send her a message like you would visit someone's grave. If you want to continue with your plan, make sure your family is fully aware that it's okay to snoop if something goes terribly wrong. There's so many people getting off on getting fake condolences and words of sympathy, it's twisted. It angers me too that people get invested in stories like these, and there's actually people who will cry or whatever when they read fake as crap. Word. I call BS. A grieving widower understands his recently dead wife's wishes and wants to start a scholarship in her name with the past love? Give me a break. Okay, fine, someone might live a life a teen on a Wattpad back in the day would write, but going on a Fing Reddit and making a post about it is too ridiculous even for this sub. And the original post is here as sending me lol. I'm sorry if I'm a douche, this just seems really, really fake. The story is possible, but it seems unlikely you'd care about updating us. I'd care less about the Reddit community if someone I knew died. If you are not faking it, I'm sorry, but if you are ruining this sub. I can't find a realistic post anymore, so please delete it, if you are faking. Also, if you aren't faking, I'm so sorry for your loss. The dutiful wife kind of did it for me. I kind of read it as if it was written by someone who doesn't speak English as their first language. I hope it's fake though, because it's sad. Same, like didn't know the correct term to use to portray his message. Hope it's fake too. Writing style in the two posts are exactly similar. Lowercase I went in first person, and use of actual numbers instead of written out forms. Similar speech patterns, and he seemed to absorb all of her writing formats to make the update. Why would he say A or S instead of my wife? It's like a 13-year-old wrote this, it has no emotion behind it. Thank you so much for taking time in your grieving to update us. You wanting to do this for her is a beautiful, kind gift that will be her legacy of kindness for this lifetime, I'm sure. I'm glad she got to see him before she died, and it sounds like while she regretted it not being her choice, she was happy otherwise. You are doing something beautiful for her, and I hope that things end up working for this. My condolences for your loss. I am so sorry for your loss. She seemed like a very sweet girl. Thank you for watching. If you like our videos, please like them on YouTube. And share them with your friends. Please subscribe to be the first to know about Red Rabbit Reader's new videos. We welcome your comments below. Another of our videos will begin shortly.